In this video, we are reviewing the Ringside exclusive Defining Moments WWE Elite Series Penta. Now, this is a figure we have been long anticipating this year, and we thought we were going to get it at the end of 2025, but it is upon us for the first WWE Elite figure review of 2026. And I think a lot of people are thinking to themselves, this is probably the best WWE Elite figure already. We are starting off with a bang. I'm excited for it. I think this is a terrific figure. I have seen this figure at Comic-Con. I have seen this figure in prototype form. I've seen all the images I need to see. I've seen it in person. I've held the figure in my hand as a prototype, but today I can finally unbox him here today and see if this figure is as good as advertised. Very excited for it. Of course, we did grab this from Ringside Collectibles using code MDTOYS, so you can save yourselves 10% over there if you'd like, but this figure is looking pretty impressive, man. I'm very excited for it. Of course, you have your standard Defining Moments packaging, a lot smaller than it used to be from back in the day. Got the embossed Ringside Collectibles logo, and we do have Penta right here. What a beautiful looking figure, man. I am enjoying it. We get the little portrait of Penta on the side, and it also is the same on the opposite side as well. You get the WWE logo, and then we do have a beautiful shot of Penta on the back, and we have the little bio read right there. If you guys want to read that, you can pause it now. But this is simply incredible. I am excited for this Penta. I don't want to wait any longer, man. So what we're going to do is crack Penta out of the packaging, find out what he's all about, and see how it fits into our WWE Mattel action figure collections. So here we have Penta cracked out of his packaging, and my goodness gracious alive, man. I mean, everything is advertised so far with this figure. I mean, you're getting an incredible amount of detail right off rip. You can see the paint details. You can feel it in hand. You can see all the different things that we have going on here from this, I mean, quote-unquote masterpiece so far from what I'm seeing from this figure. But what we're going to do is get into it. Hopefully, everything lives up to the hype, but we won't know until the very end of the video. So what we're going to do is dive into the accessories you get with this figure, and then we're going to run it back and take a closer look at the Penta figure itself, how it moves around, and of course, wrap up the video with some nice photography for you. So let's get into those accessories. So we're getting into the accessories you get with the Defining Moments Penta. Now, one of the interesting things about this figure specifically is that we don't get interchangeable heads, but we are getting interchangeable mouthpieces, and I think that that is very interesting. And they revealed this to us back at WrestleMania last year. But you can see here, I have the yelling expression in there, and it looks pretty damn good, man. I mean, this mask sculpt, which we'll get into in the next segment, is pretty incredible, but I have found switching out the mouths is a lot easier if you remove the head sculpt first. So remove the head sculpt first, and I think you're going to have an easier time with it. But the way I have found it is you want to take your finger and kind of lift up right here, and then it kind of pops right out like that, and he kind of looks like a damn sleep paralysis demon without his mouth in there, which is kind of crazy. But you can see we also get the straight face, the straight mouth, and you'll notice there's some teeth bleeding through or lip color kind of bleeding through there, and I think that is just a result of bad DIJ and sort of a QC issue. But these are really small pieces, and you do not want to lose them, so be very, very careful. You can notice there is a peg on the back right here. So you port this black peg into the hole, and when you push it in there, I would ensure that you push down pretty firmly so that it can get secured in there, and you don't want it to fall out. And it's pretty seamless right there. That is just a result of the mask. That little lip right there is from a sculpt, but it looks very good, man. Incredible likeness. It stays in there. You know, if you shake it, it does not fall out, which is great. But again, when you're removing these, be very, very careful not to drop them. And again, I like to push up and then kind of pull on it a little bit right here, and you kind of fold it down right there, and you can get your fingernail or something like in there, and see I just dropped it. You want to be very careful. But then the last one is going to be the tongue out head sculpt, or the tongue out mouth sculpt, I guess you could say, or interchangeable mouth. Plug that in there, and now you have him, you know, with his tongue out. And again, you see how it reads a little weird? It's because Penta has teeth painted on his top lip, and so on his top lip you have that, and then you have kind of his real teeth underneath that, and it looks a little odd when you're reading it, if you see what I'm talking about. So that's it's kind of, I don't know, it's not my favorite thing ever, but I don't know, I still think it works, and when you have it on the figure and it's far away, it's a lot more legible, but it definitely looks a bit weird. But there's a full look at the mask sculpt, which we'll take a look at when we get into the figure itself, but my god. But that is the interchangeable mouth feature that I think they executed pretty damn well, all things considered, outside of maybe a little bit of, you know, paint, print, tech, whatever, being misaligned a little bit, but it's not the biggest deal ever. Now for interchangeable hands, we do get these glove hands. Now I don't know if these are brand new sculpted, or sure if these are former Rey Mysterio gloves or something like that. I want to say these are brand new. They almost look identical to the AEW Jazzware sculpt, but you kind of have that lightning pattern on the back of that spider web sort of pattern on the back, and it's supposed to say Cero Miedo on the fingers right there, but he doesn't have it. So I'm guessing that Penta did not give them clearance to put that on the figure, which is kind of odd. Maybe we'll get that at a later date, or maybe it didn't get approved, but it has black palms. But I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say, you know, Cero Miedo right there, which would be really sweet. But we do get these regular mic holding or grasping style hands. We also get the creep walk hands, which are fantastic. Fantastically sculpted. You got the kind of middle finger going down right there. You know how he kind of spreads it out. And we'll do some photography at the end, but you get sort of creep walks, sort of wide open style hands. And then it couldn't be Penta without the Cero Miedo hands, which are incredible. So you know you can hit the Cero Miedo. So that's pretty sweet. I don't know why John Cena can't get these hands, but it's alright, you know what? We'll live with it. I think these look damn good, though. They did a good job on the sculpt, and I'm just glad we have these in the line. I think that's incredible to come with this Penta figure. So we're getting into this Penta figure at the top of the head sculpt, and my god, the likeness is incredible, man. The eyes are painted well. The mask sculpt is impeccable. The paint detail that you have going on between the black, the white, and the red. You even have that kind of zebra. It's not zebra print, but it's almost like a zebra print, but you can see there bleeding through there, looks incredible. They even have this sort of texture detail on the flap of this mask that comes down, and you get those blade logos right there, which I think is great. The ninja stars. You have this dragon logo here on the side, which I think is painted well and applied nice. You got that on both sides, and then you have kind of the head wrap with the blade in the middle, and then, or the Penta logo, whatever you want to say. And then on the back, you do have the kind of bandana tied right there. This is not articulated or anything, but it isn't flimsy like it's going to break off like an old ponytail or something, but they even got these sculpt in the back here from where the strings go through to tie the mask together, which I think is fantastic. But working our way down, it does have his tattoo on his throat right there. I think it's an owl tattoo that goes down, and then you have the wings spread out through here. And this figure from head to toe, besides the shoulders and arms, is completely new sculpt. So the head, the torso, the crotch, the legs, the knee pads, the kick pads, the feet, everything is completely brand new sculpt, pinless, nice. You know, you don't have to worry about anything like that. But going down into, you know, the torso, this is brand new. You can see it sculpted up right there. It's not just a regular painted torso. You have all these lines in here that look good, kind of outlining, sort of like Iron Man or Dominic Mysterio. You know how it kind of outlines the abs and whatnot. But one thing I have noticed with a few of these different Penta figures that I've seen has been some QC issues, and it's crazy because it's typically on this same side, this right side, the red and the white get a bit weird, and I've seen some chipping and stuff. Mine's a lot cleaner than others, but I do get a little nick right there. But one thing that is good is the pattern continues through the ab crunch, which I think is a huge deal. So when you articulate, you don't lose that pattern. I think that's great. You have the zero on the back, which I think is very cleanly decoed as well. On top of black is pretty impressive, but he does have all of his tattoos as well on the shoulders, on the arms, going all the way down into the white wrist tape, which I think just looks very, very good, man. They just left no stones unturned with this Penta, and I think it shows. It just shows, man. They did such a fantastic job on this figure so far that I'm reading, but this is a brand new crotch piece as well. You can see here, this flap that, you know, you would think impedes articulation. We're going to find out here in a moment, but this flap is embedded into the crotch. This is a piece of the crotch right here, and it's the same thing on the back. So you have that black and white design going down, and this is imprinted right here. You get a little bit of cut into the torso. I'm imagining they did this so that this can lay a little flatter, because if they didn't have that cut in, it would probably, you know, stick out a little bit and impede things. So that doesn't really bother me. You're not even going to notice that when you're posing the figure around and everything, but you know, we took a look at the hands. They look good as well, and then the black and white legs right there, I do believe are newly sculpted. It is pinless. You have these knee pads as well that are brand new, and they have all the nice patterns and everything. Very good details going on. And then we get into the kick pads again. You're going to see some deco hits right there on the ankle, and then right there on the foot there's a little bit of bleeding, but not the biggest deal ever. You could actually hit that with acetone, kind of get that off of there, but I don't know, man. Just well sculpted. The boots look great. Sculpted kick pads, one of one. They have just knocked themselves out when detailing this Penta. He is a just incredible piece, man. But let's find out how this guy moves around. So I do know that this figure does have the regular ball joint in the neck, so you can't really look down that much. But what's interesting about this figure is he can actually look up a decent amount. Like, you can, like, that looks like he's looking up right there, so that can hold. That's actually crazy that it's able to do that. I don't know if this is by the way they, you know, did the internals of the head. I'm not entirely sure how that's possible, but it is possible, so that is there. And the ab crunch is also pretty nice here, but one thing that's weird about the ab crunch is it gets to this point, and then if you push it a little more, it almost feels like the torso is going to separate on you, but it can dig in a little deeper, and again, I don't know if that's by design either, and it's not like it gives you incredible ab crunch, but you know, you crunch it forward and it's like this, but then if you pinch it a little bit more, you can get a little bit deeper there and go back that far. Not the best on the ab crunch, but again, not that concerning. Shoulders go right at above 90, you get full rotation, you get bicep cut, of course. All this is standard, double jointed arms, we've seen these before. You get the hinge and the swivel in the wrist, of course. He has full waist articulation, so you don't get hindered by that new crotch piece. And the moment of truth is going to be in these legs, and if you kick it forward, man, look at that. He can kick forward all the way. He can also kick out to the side. Same thing on this side. And the thing that's beautiful is he is on ball joint, so you are going to get, you know, this right here. We talk about this all the time. You want to be able to get that full range of motion right here. You don't want any hiccups or anything like that, and I think they nailed it. He does have upper thigh cut. He has a very, very smooth double jointed knee, which I think is impressive, especially, you know, something that plagued us in 2024, 2025 was the stiff double jointed knee, especially when it came to pants or denim specifically for whatever reason, but that double jointed knee is not hindered in any way whatsoever. But he also has boot cut. His feet also go up and down, and then he does have the new ankle rockers or whatever that Mattel has implemented in the last couple years, which I think is fantastic. So this figure, while not only looking incredible, poses very incredible and feels incredible in the hand. But one thing I want to do is get into some figure comparisons with our brand new Defining Moments Elite Penta. So for our first set of comparisons, we do have the new Elite Penta up next to some different AEW Jazzwares Pentas. And right off rip, I'm going to try to remember the series, but from left to right, I think this is the Unmatched Series 6. You have the Unrivaled Series 2. The Unmatched Series 9? I don't freaking remember. And then you do have the Unrivaled Series 6, I do believe, over there as well. I am missing a couple Pentas. Not that I didn't put them all up here, but I do know that I'm missing that camo one. Really wish I had that one, but my God, Penta's figures are just incredible. And then for another comparison, we do have the AEW Jazzwares Supreme Series 3 Penta, which is an unreal Penta figure. Probably the best Penta that anybody's ever created. Now, is this Elite better? I'm not entirely sure. Is it even fair to compare Elites to Supremes? Let me know. And then for our last comparison, we do have the Elite Defining Moments Penta up next to a couple Ray Phoenix Unrivaled figures from AEW and Jazzwares to see how these compare, and I think these do look good up next to each other. If you want to put this Elite up next to Ray Phoenix in your collection, I think you'll have no problems doing so. We do know we're getting another Defining Moments figure in Ray Phoenix coming this year, so that'll be exciting, but until that day, I think it will fit in with your AEW Jazzwares collection as well. And then for shits and gigs, I tried to put one of the AEW Jazzwares head sculpts onto this Penta, and the only issue is that the hole is smaller on the AEW Jazzwares head, so if you really experimented or dremeled the hole bigger on this, it looks like it would scale pretty well. If that's something you want to do to change the mask or something, I think that will be something you want to do, because that looks pretty good and it's just not pushed all the way on. So if you could mod the head, I think you would have no issues putting that on there. It actually scales quite nice, so that may be something you want to look into. But I think that about wraps it up for the Defining Moments Ringside exclusive WWE Elite Penta figure, man. And they started off with a bang. I know we had the basic figure, the main event in the Royal Rumble attire, which was great in its own right. But I think this just goes next level. And I'm hoping that after this review, I'm hoping they pump out Penta like they did Punk and Cody Rhodes and how they do John Cena and Rey Mysterio. He deserves that kind of treatment, man. If we can get this kind of Penta over and over and over, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know, the likeness to the character, unbelievable. The execution of the details, the tattoos, the mask, the unique sculpts for his hands, the attire as a whole. You guys know I love black and white. I talk about it all the time. The just imposing contrast that it has is incredible. I mean, Bo Peep said it best. He's like a damn Swiss Army knife. He does everything well. And, you know, you take a figure like this, and there's things of this in the past where a figure can look incredible. One of the perfect cases of this is the AEW Unrivaled Series 5 Luchasaurus, a figure I was so excited for, of a character I love. On paper, aesthetically, detail-oriented and execution-wise, absolutely brilliant. But then what happens? You get it in the hand and it completely falls apart. Figure can barely stand up. You can't even bend the knees. Can't even do an ab crunch. There is so many things about that figure that are beautiful, but on the flip side, it's like Two-Face, man. There's a handsome-looking side, and then you have just pure evil ugliness on the other. And that is not the case for this Penta. This Penta not only looks beautiful, it's executed beautiful, it feels incredible in hand, it poses well, zero stiffness in the double-jointed knee, both legs can move without snapping. You would think this little crotch cover would completely impede his articulation, and that's just not the case, man. That is not the case. The figure is incredible. I think the build and representation of the character is great, and Mattel should be damn proud of this one. If I had any cons about this figure or anything I do not like, it would be the QC issues. There's some QC issues, there's some paint issues. DIJ is not completely clean on the interchangeable mouths. Paint apps on the torso specifically, I've seen on a few different people's, is not that clean. I think mine is better than some others I've seen, thank God. But that would be my only gripe, and I really dig the interchangeable mouth thing. I think it is very easy to lose these, so you want to be very careful, man. Make sure you plug those in well and make sure they're pushed all the way in place. Do not lose them, but I think that's an excellent way to give us 3 different head sculpts without giving us 3 different head sculpts. Very innovative by the team, very genius, fantastic job, man. A standing ovation for everybody involved with the creation of this figure. I am blown away. I think that Tyler Bate just won the Elite Championship, and by God, man, Penta is about to steal it from him immediately. This is going to be on everybody's top 10 WWE Elites of 2026, and for damn good reason. Very fun figure to pose, very fun figure to review, and I would love to know what you guys think of the figure, what you guys thought of the review. Let me know everything down in the comment section below, but I had an amazing time reviewing this figure, and I appreciate Ringside Collectibles and Mattel for making this video possible. Use code MDTOYS when you're shopping over at Ringside Collectibles, man, but that is pretty much going to wrap it up for me, man. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'd love to know where you stand here. I think this is a brilliant figure through and through, and I think it's just going to really depend on your QC issues if you end up with any. But I have not seen a clean DIJ screen print mouth just yet, but you can let me know, man. But I'm getting out, man. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.